Happy St. Valentine's Day. Patrick here, 8 Questions with. And it's the day of love for many people. Of course, mixed emotions on this front, of course. It's a little tough for me. Uh, but but I do celebrate it with people who have loved ones who are going out and have a spaghetti and maybe watching a little TV afterwards. Hi Jennifer, how are you? In case she's watching, I want to say hello to my new friend Susan Bowl. Um, Hi Susan. Uh, I am working hard on booking Women in Horror Month, and just like it was last year, this year it's extremely difficult. It's hard to find. It's hard to find the actresses. Um, it, it is and it isn't. I mean, I could go back to some actresses that I've talked to before, and I could do that, and I've thought about doing that, but I really wanted to bring out some new faces and new voices for Women in Horror Month. I think that'd always be a lot of fun. Um, though that's not to say we're not bringing back some favorites, because we are definitely. I mean, I definitely want to talk to a lot of the people I've already talked to. It's just so much fun watching their careers go. We've already seen it with Crystal Martin. We've seen it with uh, Michael Markov. We've seen it now with it's just a lot of people. Leah McKendrick is going to be the next one in the shoot. She is probably be going up to the next level real soon, and I'm hoping to talk to her in March or in April, because before she explodes out of here. Um, she's actually been. It's just a matter of time for her. It's just one of those artists that you just know it's just gonna happen for her. Um, so yes, and we are doing dual streaming again. So I see our friend Mariano is back in watching us on Facebook. Thank you so much for that, Mariano. That's awesome. That is so cool. This dual streaming is really cool. Of course, it doesn't reflect the people I have in there. Hey Rob, how are you? How are you? Anthony now has 706 subs. The mighty Casey is here for a minute. Uh, uh, yeah, not a problem. I enjoy your channel. I enjoy your channel, Rob. I know we're not going to have Casey for very long, because I mentioned earlier about people going out for spaghetti dinners, and that's who I was talking about, because I know that Casey is going out for spaghetti and meatballs for Valentine's dinner. And how fun is that? Anybody who has a date tonight, I'm actually so sort of surprised to see as many people as I am, because it's Valentine's Day. Um, and I hope that you guys are. I hope that you've already had a lunch or a dinner with a loved one, and celebrate it. Um, that would be really cool. Almost as cool as this dual stream here. Man, that is cool. I'm digging it so much right here. So now I got to watch two screens. That's the fun thing about it, but not too much, because I know the Facebook is in the Oh, you just got in from dinner. All right. Casey's going to be here till 8. Okay. What about you, Jennifer? Are you and Jaden? Are you guys heading out for Valentine's celebrations? Um, I hope so. I hope everybody is, except for our guest. I hope that he didn't. I hope that our guest will show up, because that would be important. Our guest tonight is Echo. I know he was on last night for the 1,000 sub celebration. But if you noticed, I didn't ask him any questions yesterday where he was on up with me, because we saved that for tonight. So we will be talking to Echo. We finding out how where he got his start in horror, and a little bit more about him, the person, and he's a tremendous supporter in the community. He's got a really fine YouTube page. He does the Echo Side show every Wednesday at around 10 o'clock or so. That's a lot of fun too. Um, uh, 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 so I hope that you guys will stick around. This will be a proper interview. This won't be just me and Echo just hanging out. We will be doing an interview with him. So sometimes people ask me, is it hard to do that, to interview friends? And it can be. It can get away from you really quick. It can turn into just a chat, and that's not really what it's about. It's about asking him questions, and like, I know he's reviewed a brand new show called Velma, and I want to talk to him. I know he really dislikes it, and I want to know why. I want to know why. Not that I'm a big fan of it per se, but I'm just curious to see how he feels about certain things. Um, Hell, for you guys as well. Um, what do you guys think of that, about when they take a character, a well-established character like a Velma Dinkley, and they change it for they change the character, instead of creating a new character, they take one that's already established, and they decide to make it over and to revamp it to fit what they want. I personally, I hate it. I hate that. I think it's lazy. I think that's what I do. I think it's lazy. Uh, let's take Velma. We'll make her into a lesbian. We'll make her into an Asian girl. That's awesome. I have no problem with that. That's amazing. But do it with your own creative character. Do it with your own, create your own character for it. Go ahead and create the character. Give her new name. Give her own look. Don't take what's already been there. I mean, it's sort of. Oh, Jennifer went out on a romantic weekend with her husband. That's awesome. I am madly jealous of that. Madly jealous. Um, Rob saying he hates it. Yeah, I do too. I do too. I think it's not because I hate it, because of course the right wingers think that it's because it's woke. That has something to do with it. Because I don't care if they create their own character and put those attributes to their new character. What I really hate and despise is when they take an established character with its own history, and just it basically has just wiped out that character's history. So all the shows that we've seen before with the Scooby Doo or any other thing, their history has been wiped clean for convenience sake. Oh, it's convenient for us to go ahead and create a character. We're going to take this character and make it into what we want to do it. What we wanted to make it into what we think it should be. That's not their place to do that. It's the creator's place. Whoever created it. Um, that's how you feel about Galadriel in the Rings of Power. Hey, Rick. Hey, Star Lord. Yeah, I still have yet to see Rings of Power. Think I think it got released, like, on Blu-ray or DVD. I hope the first season did. I definitely want to see it. I definitely want to see that. Of course, I want to see. Of course, Galadriel is well. She's very young back then too. Uh, I mean, she's not going to be Kate Blanchett in the Rings of Power. Um, but yeah, I want to see, and that's another thing about prequels. Prequels, that's what happens. Is they go back and they can do that too. It's like it's a little maddening. Um, so Echo did a very good review on the Velma series, and we'll talk about that a little bit more. Uh, so wow, we already got 9 people watching. Thank you guys so much. Oh, we got 10 really. We got 8 watching here, 1 watching on Facebook. This is amazing. Uh, how do you make someone great and a noob at the same time? Me, as far as Galactical goes, yeah, that's tough, because we do know that she is very long lived. I mean, so and there's not much of a background for her in the books. Um, there isn't. So there's actually sort of wiggle room there I mean, go back there and create her history. Whereas actually Velma Dinkley from Scooby Doo, she has a history. She has been actually. God, it's sort of funny to say this, but Velma Dinkley probably has more of a complete history than most of the characters on the Lord of the Rings. They just she just does. Um, oh, let's check that. Make sure that's our good buddy Rick is here. Got to throw the password on there. I'll know it's really him. We'll see. We'll see. Uh, all right, all right. Good news, good news. We just got confirmation for a new interview for Women in Horror Month. Thank you so much, Serena. I'm looking forward to talking to you. Yes, I'm excited. Okay, so that's two. It is him. All right. I thought it was you, Rick, but I had to be sure. Uh, hey, Charles, how are you? Welcome, welcome. Echo will be here very soon. Um, Jennifer has says that she had went out for a romantic evening. I'm sure that that also applies to Rick. I'm sure that he took his lovely wife out for dinner. He also has new stock in at Underground Sabrosa. I've actually asked Rick to come back on here, and he's dragging his feet. So I'm gonna try again. I'm gonna see if he'll come up there and hang out with us in April and talk about his store because I think his store deserves some more exposure. And we had a great interview the first time. So I'm gonna try to get Rick to come back up here and hang out with me and the Cheetah. Um, I saw that you had new stock, Rick, including martyrs. I was going to ask you how much are you charging for martyrs because I might have to go visit that. Um, Seeing how I covered it for the Midnight Society. Uh, let's see. Yes, that's so amazing, Rick. I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you. That's so cool. That's why I like having you, and that's why I want to have you come up. That's why I really like having Christy Adams come up for Nightmare Toys, because I always want to celebrate that you guys are doing so well. That's so cool. I know that they're going to be doing I know they're doing a convention, Days of the Dead in Las Vegas. That will be a lot of fun. Um, are you guys looking forward to? Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. I would really appreciate a good copy of Martyrs. Um, Speaking of conventions, are you guys planning to go to any conventions this year? It's starting to get to be that point where people are going to be starting to think about that. Um, the weather is breaking early here in Michigan. We are already in our springtime. I do believe winter is over here. Uh, Charles might back me up on here, but we our winter was pretty much non-existent, except when my furnace broke down. Of course that um, yeah, I had to go with minus like 22 degrees in frozen pipes. Yeah, for 4 days. That's how long winter lasted. The 4 days, and I had them all with a broken furnace. Uh, oh, oh, you went to CreepyCon in Ontario. I went to school on Ontario, Rick. I went to high school there. I went to Ontario High School. That was my that's fun. Yeah, Christmas was a nightmare, but I think the winter is over. It's over. I heard CreepyCon was very busy. I watched Christie's her podcast. She went live, and she mentioned that CreepyCon was very busy. Um, let's see. And see, Rob's saying he's moving to Ontario in July. Wow. I hope they still have Euclid Avenue. I still hope they have the newsstand. Ontario newsstand, Rob. You need to go there. That's the bookstore, a comic book store. That'll be I don't know if it's still there. I have not been to Ontario since I left it. It's been over 30 years since I left. Yeah, CreepyCon. Professor. Greetings, sir. Let's see, you got an expo in April in Maryland. All right, all right. Uh, let's see. Star-Lord says that his winter felt like he was camping outside the entire time. Let me tell you, brother, I was feeling that way for Christmas. Charles will sit there and say that too. Charles knows. Him and I both went through the same weather, but hopefully he was a little warmer than me. Um, yeah, but I think people are excited for convention season, based on what I've been seeing. Like I know that CreepyCon, like I said, was very very crazy, very very busy. So yeah, I'm looking forward to looking forward to hearing what you guys' adventures are, who you guys are meeting, and some pictures and stuff like that. And we'll try to get some heads on here that are doing some conventions. We'll try to get some people up here. I might try reach out to my friend Midoff. Let's try to talk to him. He runs conventions, so I might go ahead and reach out and see about getting him to come up here. All right, it is that time. It is time for our guest. I know you've seen him in all these different streams or whatever, but this is a different one. This is going to be interviewed. So give it up for our good friend Patrick, aka Echo from the Echo Side. Here we go.
Hello.
Evening, Echo.
Hey,
Hello.
hey, hey. How you?
Do you know why people do that, right? With your name, right?
What?
Like you always see me do this for your name. Look in the chat. This is how every time I see you. This is how I always. This is how I always greet you.
Echo.
Sonar. It's like a submarine. It's like
I like that.
that's what that's for. It's like yeah, it's Sonics. It's like okay, let's find him. And
Echolocation or whatever they call
yeah,
it.
locate the echo. And Casey did the same thing. Hello, Echo. Oh yeah, Echo Zero. Yes, everybody's doing that now. Everybody's doing it. Echo.
You know, for the longest time, no one did any plays on my name until it came to you guys. So I find that amusing that no one caught on to that until you guys.
Oh gosh, yes, yeah, of course. Holy cow! Look who walked in through the door. It's the mighty host of the House of Horrors. Steven's in the crib. What's going on, my friend? Glad you're here. Glad you're here.
Hey, Steven.
Um, yeah. Wow, this is great. I'm a little surprised actually. Honestly, I sort of thought it'd just be you and me here tonight because it's
Well, you
Valentine's.
damn. Yeah, I guess that means there's a whole bunch of lonely, lonely, sad people.
Yeah, I thought it's just gonna be us two, because I thought everybody be in the chat would be out there, romancing and eating and dancing and
Trying to get a little bow, chicka wow wow.
boom shakalaka boom. But here they are. That says actually, I think it says a lot about who you are. That they all come out to support this. See, they're throwing the echo. See, if they ever put a emoji of a submarine in here, it's all over. It's over. Uh,
Well, you could use a bat because doesn't no bats use echo
oh,
location things
well, Star-Lord says there is a video game called Echo the Dolphin.
without the H though. It's
Oh,
ECO.
oh, it's just ECO. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
you know what though? He's taking the character, he's making it into his own. Now you have a whole new back history, like
I've
Velma.
never I've never played it because I had somebody who wasn't that good of a gamer. My older brother suggested. I'm like, I'm not gonna take a suggestion from someone who's not really a gamer of what game to play.
I, man, I only have a PS2. That's all I have, right?
Good
It,
system.
yeah, it is a good system, and I'm sitting here going like I don't think I'll ever play it again or whatnot, and because they got rid of the only game I cared about. They dropped a EA football, college football.
Yeah,
That was
that's the one system I need to get my hand on, the PS2, because I would love to have one of those again. I made the mistake of getting rid of mine. It's like, you know, one of the things you have and you get rid of, and then afterwards they're like, oh, son of a.
Uh, yeah, we were talking about Velma Dinkley earlier before you got here. We'll talk about it a little bit more. Yeah. Yeah. I just told Star Lord he just changed the character's background just like they did for Velma. Um, so yeah, this is a really touchy subject, I think. Though I think for some people they they don't understand it, because there's there if you're right wing in here, it's just tough because I'm just bringing it as it is. But I think the like when people get mad about like Velma, there's some people from the right that get mad because they're going like, well, that's because you're making a woke character, and they really truly don't understand the word woke too. That's another
Yeah,
thing too. It's sitting there
that would,
watching them use that word. Oh, it's woke. It's
yeah,
woke.
that word gets thrown around with this. It's all woke and right versus left. I
It,
don't
it,
care about right versus left. I cared about whether it was going to be a good program or not, and it wasn't.
yeah, well, and what really gets me about this is how I explain it is what I don't like about this is I don't care if if uh if someone if someone creates a character that's gay and they're married to their companion and they leave that lifestyle. I don't care if you create a gay character or a multicultural. If you have a black wife and a white husband or black husband, white husband. I don't care. What I care about is the fact that when you take an established character like a Velma or a Veronica or Archie or whatever, and then you turn around and you wipe out their history and make the character fit your narrative. That part I don't like. I don't like it at all. I just like it's to me. I just like I said, it's creatively, it's lazy. It's
Yeah,
lazy and it's sloppy. It's like if you want to do that, create your own character. Trust me, if you create your own character and you start sliding it into Scooby Doo, like there's always been five. I've always felt like there should have been, or there should have been, there actually should have been five people because I always felt bad for Shaggy and Velma because Fred and Daphne were together. Okay,
well,
they showed that couple, they showed that couple, teenage couple, and then you had Shaggy, him and his counterculture. I mean, Shaggy. I mean, come on. How could anybody be upset about Velma when Shaggy's been a stoner since the show
well,
started?
here's the thing. They did a cartoon, Scooby Doo Mystery Incorporated, a few years back, where Shaggy and Velma were a couple. But that was done right in the correct way. Not,
Right.
I mean, two words that were thrown out was racist and sexist for
Um,
Velma. I was like, um,
well, you know what? It's funny. It is racist. Changing her look. It is racist. It's reverse racism, but it is still racist. It's like
well,
Velma Dinkley was a Caucasian girl. How she was created. By going over there and forcing her and changing her into an Asian American or Indian American or what have you, you have wiped out who she was.
my
And
thing
then we're
is,
talking, we're using her as a microcosm too. I mean, we're using her as just a small sample size, but this does happen. It happens a lot in comic books and whatnot,
yeah.
in books. People will
It's,
change
it's
character.
like I said in my video, I have no problem with them changing so much nationality or sexuality, as long as it's done with this. It's the person's able to do a good job. The writing is good. This just was not it.
Mm,
And take in mind, they changed three characters' nationalities because Daphne's like Chinese or something, and Shaggy, oh, sorry, Neville, he doesn't call himself Shaggy, is interracial. His
yeah.
mom's black and his dad's white.
To me, it's like what if you have and obviously because Mindy Kaling is the name behind this that got this made.
Yeah.
Look, why? I mean, it's obviously that she's talented, and it's obviously she has a great love for the show. So
Well,
God, if you go back, you see that Hanna-Barbera and Ruby Spears, they modeled the same they did the same show over and over and over again.
oh, a lot more because I went to look up like, okay, how many Scooby clones were there? There was like
Oh,
Speed
ton.
Buggy,
Yep,
Funky Phantom,
yep.
Captain Caveman. There was one about a shark. There was a whole bunch of them because they hit a
Jabberwocky.
success. They hit a
Yeah,
successful formula, and the fact
right.
that since 1969 with Scooby show, and it was a successful formula. But this basically takes that whole formula and says, that's what I think about you. Let me do
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
exactly what that's a really good way of putting
I
it.
mean,
You
yeah,
basically flipping off everybody else, saying that because I'm here and I can do because I have this platform, I can go ahead and shove this down your throat. We're gonna
yeah.
and
But
certain
okay,
people
I
don't
mean,
like that.
let's look at the character of Velma. Intelligent. She did have somewhat of a wit. She could, figure things out and have some one-liners. And here she is, this new one. I use the term bitch. She shits on people. She uses them. She's not bright.
Yeah,
She's not Velma.
yeah. See, that's what made Velma such a really endearing character. Is that you always looked at Velma sort of like a cocoon butterfly. She's smart. She's spunky. And she's extremely smart, spunky. She's patient, and she's and she has a sense of humor. And you think about her, and you think
And
about if they would have advanced her to her age, she's going to be type of girl that when she like right now, that's how she looks when she's 15 or 16. But when she grows up to be 21 or 22, she's going to be just like Daphne. She's going to be a beautiful girl. She's going to just come out of it or out of her cocoon. And you know what? It's just how it's just that's how you always felt about the character. Or they were, or as like, or you're sitting there wondering, when is Shaggy going to fall in love with her? Because that's coming.
like I
And
said, they did that before, and then they broke up because he had to keep it as the deal with Mystery Incorporated was he had to keep it a secret from Scooby because he knew Scooby would be butthurt, which she didn't like. He's like, "Hey, I'm your girlfriend. Tell your dog. Screw your dog."
The professor mentioned the best version of Velma was in the two James Gunn's movies. Yeah,
Yeah.
Linda Cardinelli was the actress who played Velma in those movies, and yes, she was gorgeous, definitely. Star Lord mentions, what do you guys think about the Chucky show? Well, did you watch the Chucky show? When because
I saw
you're a little,
some. I saw some of the stuff online, and the thing with me in TV shows, unless it's online, I can't watch it because I took cable out of my room. I had a cable box in my room that was collecting dust like you wouldn't believe. And it was like my mom's like, "I need to do my cable box was out." I was like, "Here," and this will save me some money because I'm not watching cable.
Um, how are you? How much does this? Because you're being a huge fan of horror and comics and what have you. How much as a fanboy? That's what we are. We're all fanboys here. Um, how much as a fanboy does that really does it make you? Does it spark you? Growing up, you see certain characters a certain way, and then you see this happen not just to Velma but to other characters. Do you feel like it's just lazy? Do you feel attacked? Do you feel
Mm.
disappointed? All the above?
Well, let's look at Blood and Honey. I don't want to see it because Winnie was my childhood, so I do feel
Sure.
it's an attack. Um, but again, okay, the She-Ra Princess of Power was an awesome cartoon they did on Netflix. I like that. I haven't seen Masters of the Universe yet.
Yeah, Star Lord's mentioning that he's used to reboots by now, and yeah, that's really it's sort of insidious that way too. Star Lord, they do that. They come in there and they remake characters,
Yeah.
over and over and over, and they do that with prime time stuff too. They'll go ahead and remake a show, and they'll.
Well, let's not only doing remakes now. So let's look at Criminal Minds ended. Now all of a sudden we're getting we got season 16 and season 17 coming up. They'll be that 90s show. They're reviving old shows. Instead of, they're not doing remakes, they're just reviving them. Are they that, is the barrel that dry up that they can't come up with something original?
Yeah. But you know what, though? I will say this. I will say this about that. I mean, picking up a story, picking up a story and continue it like the '90s show. At least they didn't reboot it. They just picked it up. It went off the air 20 years ago. They picked it up right where they at, and they advanced it. Right. None of the characters have changed at all. So it's just a continuation, and I can dig that. I mean, they did that with Night Court as well. And they did it with Sex in the City, because I know that.
I heard about Magnum PI. They were doing that.
Now Magnum PI is a reboot. That's totally.
But they ended the show and something about it's coming back.
Yeah, on NBC. Yeah, it got canceled by CBS, and they brought it back. And then people were talking about about bringing it back in the first place, and they brought it back with a different Magnum, and instead of a different Higgins. They basically remade the show, and I don't know. I've never seen it. I've never seen the new show, so I don't know what to say. I did see the reboot of Hawaii Five-0.
I like that.
I thought Hawaii Five-0 had the spirit. They didn't change any of the characters other than making them a little bit younger and fitting the procedure. Because back in the '60s, things were done differently in law enforcement than they are today. So that's why the show had to change, because it was a different time, different era.
And via CGI, we actually had one of the original cast members via CGI appear in one of the episodes. I think it was.
Oh, did they? Okay.
Was the original main guy is talking to like the guy who replaced him in the show. And what they did, they just had an actor who impersonated him, and in CGI, they just put his face. They did that thing.
Wow.
They'll sit in the church talking. It's like, oh, okay.
Where were you born and raised at, Echo? Have you always been in the Northwest?
I was born in Bremerton, Washington, but my dad was in the Navy, so we went from, I think it was on Woodby Island to, I want to say in California, Point Malati. Could be wrong. And then he was stationed in Virginia. We were in Norfolk and then Virginia Beach, and then he retired back to Washington State. So I've been back in Washington State since 1992.
What did your dad do for the Navy?
He was a BT, a boiler tech.
Oh, he's out in the engine room.
I remember, like, we had him in they called the oil lab. They had the sink, and the thing was, they told you at certain times of the day you had to stay away from the sink because they would flush the water, whatever. The water was so hot, and said if you got close, it can burn your skin off. Right. So we'd be in there visiting, and they'd be like, "Get away from the sink!" and get away and get this water come down. You can see the smoke. It's like, damn.
So he was on. He served aboard a ship. Then what ship did he just serve under?
Originally, it was the Ranger, then the Coral Sea, CV-43, Coral Sea, and then the Monongahela, which was an oiler, which is what he retired on. Best sleep, by the way, I ever had was on the Monongahela because it was just like being on the crib, just crazy to rock me to sleep.
See, Sean says that he was born in a van down by River County, down by the river. Yeah, I think I can't make any more Eagle comments. I was gonna make some more Eagle comments because I'm a Steelers fan. So as a Steelers fan, I was really like rooting hard for Kansas City because I'm a Steelers fan, and it's like there's no way do I want the Eagles to win shit because I don't want to hear Eagle fans chirp all year long. So I'm just being honest with you.
They already were on Twitter talking about, oh, it's rigged, it's fixed, crooked officials.
Oh yeah. You know what I always say to that? I always say this whenever I hear someone cry about the officiating. Oh, the officials robbed us on that play, and it's like, okay, so what was the score again? 38-35. Okay, so what happened to the 38 points that they scored on your defense? Okay. you just need to go back to the small corner. And we'll send the bus out to pick you up in a few minutes.
The short bus.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what though? I will have to say this, even though because I don't want to. I will say this. I do see the Eagles returning next year to the Super Bowl. I see the Eagles and Bengals next year. But after that, it's going to be all about the Steelers again. And let me tell you, it's coming. Payback's a bitch.
You won't see the Seahawks do it because there's something about Seattle teams. They can do good. They can have a good season, but when it comes down to when it really, really counts, they choke.
That their Super Bowl appearance, their first Super Bowl appearance, was here in Detroit. They played the Super Bowl and here. They played the Super Bowl here against the Steelers, which the Steelers won their Super Bowl. Thank you very much.
Ooh, Sean.
Actually, I was a Steelers fan from California. I was a Steelers fan. I was a Steelers fan from California. I was a Steelers fan the first year that Terry Bradshaw came in and he played from Louisiana Tech. That's how far I'm. That's how old I am.
There we go.
Yep. It's gonna be the Bills. Oh my gosh, I don't know. They've had their chances. They've been sort of routed. Oh my gosh, they should have. They already. Yeah. Oh boy, football talk. So your dad started to board ships, and you got to go on the ships. Did you ever think about having a naval career? Or did you ever think about joining the Navy?
I knew I wouldn't be able to make it in the military. It just some people you can cut out for it.
When did you know that?
I just I have my issues and stuff. I realized I would not be able to handle that. I would wash out. Some people you can tell I'm made for it, and some you aren't. I knew one guy who wanted to do it, wanted to join the military. He kept thought it would be a breeze. I go, it's not going to be a breeze. You're going to have someone in your face. He washed out, and the first thing he said to me when he talked to me was, "You're right."
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough. I mean, you hear that people go. Once you sign your name in, you're in there for you're in there till your end of your tour. No, that's not true. Your ass can get washed out of boot camp. If you can't do
cut it.
The drills or what have you. Even the Navy is tough. You should have stuck with a California team. No, I was a fan of the Steelers back when they were like terrible. Yeah, I can tell you every single team, Sean, from 1974 on up. So I've been a fan since '74. I've been a fan longer than you've been alive. So how about that? Yeah, I could talk Steeler football with you. Yeah, and I could talk a little. I could talk actually a little Eagle. I could talk a little Eagle football too because we had a quarterback that played for the Eagles that went to school in a town next to us, Roman Gabriel. He went to a school. He went to a school real close, and he was he was a big star for the Eagles. Good quarterback too.
Actually, Dan, you ever heard of Dan Dornick?
Oh, the Dan Dierdorf, you mean?
Dornick, he played back in the 70s. You see who he played for.
I know Dan Dierdorf played. He played for many years. He's the offensive lineman, and then he went on to do play-by-play. He just retired. He was a play-by-play announcer for Michigan, and he retired. Were you
for the Giants in '78, and then he played for the Seahawks from '79 to '85.
Wow. See, the Seahawks had a quarterback named Jim Zorn. Jim Zorn went to school at Cal Poly Pomona. I saw Jim Zorn play many times.
Actually, I lived at the high school this guy went to, so of course they blast his name all up there, all over the place. Dan Dornick.
Jennifer wants to know how big of a Scooby Doo fan are you? Was that like one of your favorite shows growing up? What was the one show or book that made you into a fanboy that got you into horror and comics and science fiction and stuff like that?
With Scooby Doo, I was more of a G.I. Joe Transformers guy. They were more like my secret little thing to watch. And I do love Scooby Doo and Zombie Island. I did enjoy more than the sequel.
Yep.
But for horror, the story always goes, and I've told this before. My dad was in the Navy. He'd have some of his crewmates over, and one time they rented some movies, and one of them was Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original. I was a little kid, and I ran out of the room crying because it scared the crap out of me. And from
What
there, it was like,
Scooby Doo scared you?
no, Texas Chainsaw Massacre scared the
Oh yeah,
shit out
well,
of me.
okay.
And from
At
there,
least,
it just
at
it
least there's someone
began.
actually admits that.
That's the original. Not that I didn't care for the remake because it didn't. That's the only movie. Texas Chainsaw Massacre is the only movie to ever scare me.
Yeah,
Comic books. My dad used to give me comic books. My brother says I'm full of shit when I tell this story, but he would give me these comic books, and I didn't know what's going on in them because I couldn't read. So I had to learn. I wanted to learn to read so I can see what's going on. But comics, sci-fi. Star Trek got me into sci-fi.
really, the original series or the next generation?
The movies. I remember
Oh, the
watching
movie.
the original movies with Wrath of Khan and Star Trek 2. Wrath of Khan and Search for Spock are my favorites.
Okay.
That would really, really like them. And I was, when you get Star Wars versus Star Trek, I'm going to choose Star Trek over Star Wars. No disrespect to all these, may the Force be with you. Dude, fuck the
Yeah.
Force. We got Scotty.
Yeah, I always thought the Star Wars. I always thought the Star Trek ships were a lot better. I mean, I love the Imperial Destroyer, but it has no shielding, so it always gets blown up, and the stormtroopers can't shoot straight. At least they can
And
shoot.
they walk into things too.
Yeah, that's right.
They kept
You
that
know,
in the
with someone
movie
actually,
too.
yeah, and there's not any kinkiness between brothers and sisters either. Uh,
Oh, that's right. They had incest in Star Wars, and they didn't even know about that.
yeah, it was funny. It was funny. Yeah, I love Star Wars. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love Star Wars. The first three movies. But
Could you
I
imagine
too.
that?
I'm a Star Trek guy too. If I had to choose those either two, I go with Star Trek.
Can you imagine that at a family gathering? Uncle Luke, did you really kiss my mom? Tongue and all?
I
Yes.
don't think they did that. Think they. I didn't. They didn't have any like. If you look back at it, it was sort of like a sort. It could be sort of like sort of weird. But they didn't like. They would have had like swapped in serious bit. That would have been weird. That would have been like, yeah, you got to go back there. George Lucas, he goes back and changes things, and that's one
What
thing he
I
probably
have
would
like
have changed.
one issue with Luke and Laura. Once they find out the siblings, she's just like, "Oh yeah, he's my brother."
Yeah,
Really? You're just gonna like that? Accept it?
yeah.
We
So
need
that's
to
the reason why
talk.
you've been making Google eyes.
He's like, "Oh yeah, he's
That's
my
a good
brother."
example. Well, see, that's a good example of writing that they fix things. They went ahead and they fixed it. They didn't force it down. They said, okay, look, obviously it's obvious on the screen too. When you go back and watch the dailies, I'm sure they saw that. I'm sure they saw the chemistry was a lot more vital between Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher than it was Carrie Fisher and Mark Hamill. I mean, you can definitely see that there was, and I'm sure they went back there and said, yeah, we're going to make these two the couple because it was just more chemistry there. Um, let's see. Jennifer says she liked the Stephen King book called Desperation, Twilight Zone, Tales of the Dark Side, Tales from the Crypt. Yes, all the anthology ones. Yes, the anthologies are really good. See, Sean mentioned he was growing up watching. Let's see. Let's see. Oh, X-Men. Yes, yes, X-Men. Yep. The X-Men
Awesome
cartoon.
cartoon.
That's the best cartoon Marvel ever made was the
They're
X-Men.
supposed to be bringing it back.
I'm scared. I'm scared.
That goes with one of those. Oh, is the bottom of the barrel dry? Do we have to,
But
bring
I
more
will
stuff
say
up?
this. I will say this that Marvel did establish the first openly gay superhero in North
North
Star.
Star.
They established that right off the bat.
Oh,
Yep.
I was at the theater today, and they had like the posters for upcoming movies, and they had some. They usually do that. So I'm seeing Shazam, Guardians of the Galaxy, and I forget what the other one is, and then I see Blue Beetle. I'm like,
Yeah, I saw that too.
oh,
What the hell? So when did your parents support you when you got into books and comics and stuff like that? Were they down with that?
Uh, yeah, I mean, because my mom likes to read, my dad liked to read, so it was like passing it on. However, where I lived in military housing, to get my comic books, I had to cross the freeway. We were told not to because it was
Mm.
dangerous. I'm sure if we got caught, we would have gotten in a lot of trouble because a lot of us kids were like, hmm. I remember my older brother one time, I sent him, he's like, he had to go to the store. Can you give me some comic books? He goes, and I gave him like $10 or whatever. It's like, no, I'll take a few dollars. That's all I need. Comes back with one. He goes, holy shit, you didn't tell me they cost so much. That's when they were going up.
Oh yeah, yeah. When I started collecting, they were 25 cents.
I mean, I have, you can see some of my older issues that I have. I have like,
Oh,
75 cents, a dollar, $1.25. Now they're like $2.99, $3.99.
I mean, if I know you don't have any kids of your own, but if you had kids of your own today, would you allow them to get into comic books and science fiction and horror like today? Would you allow them to do it today versus the time when you did?
With what's out there today,
Yeah, what's out there today? Would you encourage that more than?
I would monitor it because I mean, as risque as we were back then with shit, nowadays a lot of I mean, there was a comic book code, you know that was
Yeah,
supposed to be out there, and it's gone.
yeah,
I would monitor them more. Also, because some parents I hear them say when it comes to video games when the kids playing it, well, at least we know they're safe. We know that they're not outside causing trouble.
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because I'm sitting there and I talk to book resellers, and they go to the bookstore in the library and they buy books, and I'm always a little bit amazed by that because we've been told over and over and over that reading is on the decline, unless there's something really huge, like Harry Potter came out and then young kids read like the devil, and then the Hunger Games came out and they did the same thing.
Well,
um
here's another thing. So let me grab a couple books here. Yes, I really do own a copy of The Art of War. See, this is what we grew up, a lot of us doing. Actual book, paper. Now, they do like kids like this crap. Gotta be on an iPad, a tablet, digital.
yeah, yeah, I can't read off a tablet.
Yeah, this runs out of power. This doesn't. This will never run out of power.
No. Nope.
You know,
As long as you have light, you can read.
mhm.
I agree. How about video games in your opinion? Or because I know you're a gamer, do you think video games has interfered with the development of fans? Basically, I mean they're sort of stilted. They know the video games, but they don't read about them. They don't read the characters. They don't read anything. Do you think that's sort of stilted? Uh, it makes because you do game. You mentioned there's some really people get rage quit and they get
Right.
really angry or whatever. Do you think that if they actually took some time out to read books and to develop their brain a little bit, do you think that it would be healthy for them to do so?
Yeah, I mean, with
Opinion.
games, um, they have mythologies with some of these games. So if you're really a fan of the game, read the books. But rage quitting is like you want to beat the game, you want to get past a level, but it doesn't work out, so then they get mad and they pick up such colorful language on some of these games. Oh, good lord. I remember I was playing GTA Online and somebody, because I won't listen to the lobby because I don't want to hear the shit that goes on. And this guy kept saying, "Stop calling me that. Stop calling me that." When the guy was gaming with, I go, "What the hell?" He goes, "This guy keeps calling me the N word." So I
Oh,
switched over so I could hear it. This kid was saying the N word so many times, even a racist would be going, "Holy shit, that's too much, kid. You're racist.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah,
oh
I was.
my.
Yeah, I mean, it's you know what gets me, Echo? It really gets me is the fact that it's the attention span. That's what kills me more than anything else. When you see people in science fiction or comics or horror or whatnot, it's the attention spans doesn't seem to be there anymore, does it?
No,
It's
I
like
mean,
people can't people's memories memories. You know, it's like it's just not there anymore. It's like there's no patience. If you give them a book to read, here read the read here's a couple of Star Trek novels and read them. Uh, they would have a hard time getting through them. It's just like they can't really focus. They can't really focus to read to go through that to develop their because to me fanboyhood is developed. You're just not a fanboy. That's got to be developed.
if you're a fanboy or a fangirl, get into all of the stuff, not just the movies or the games, as books, words and stuff. I used to have with Resident Evil, they released a book series that followed the video games that filled in a lot of like gaps. I used to have all those books, and they were fun reads.
What was your favorite? What was your favorite books to read when you grow up, Echo? What books really stuck with you?
Well, again, growing up, I read a lot of comic books. I got into Stephen King a little bit. The Resident Evil books. I have these Old West Time Life magazine. Did like a Time Life did Old West books. I have all of those books. Those were my favorites growing up.
Wow, I
Looking at
remember those.
I was at a yard sale. I had a box of them, and they're like, "Give us $5, and you can have all of them." Here.
Oh, it is 5:36 in Dubai. Do you still have those books? You said.
They're right over here, and I'm up
Grab,
my
grab,
bed.
grab one so we can see it.
Okay,
So
let's
way
see.
back when, they used to sell these books through TV ads, commercials. They used to have they would come up with like one every other month, once every 3 months, and you could buy them. They had cowboys, they had World War II, different history books. They were really, really amazing books. And yes, look at that. And
And it's just
you got the whole collection for Western.
I gotta check. I mean, but like, oh, it was such. I can remember as a kid, just see that
Yeah,
flashing through and looking at this. It was like this, and some of
yes.
the
And
like one of the outlaw ones. They would in the old days. They took pictures of the dead and all when they would die. They were like, "Oh, let's pose with some picture." I think that's in one of the other books.
Yes, Mr. Dan Horror has mentioned the Time Life books. Yes, Mr. Dan remembers those. Jennifer has mentioned
Yeah.
I knew Resident Evil was going to come up. Yeah, I did too with Echo. It's the first video game that scared me. The movie was pretty good too. The first
Oh,
Resident Evil movie, that
the
movie was tight.
first two, and then
You can't deny the laser scene. You just can't deny that. That laser scene
the,
with Resident Evil was badass.
well, the big problem there was something called continuity. Yeah, you froze, Pat.
Huh? Oh, let me see.
But yeah, with those movies, it was a thing called continuity, and people couldn't follow it.
Oh shoot, I'm stuck. Oh crap, I haven't done that in forever. Let me go back out and come back in.
Yeah. But when it comes to Stephen King, I just picked this up based on the Coyote Kid, loosely based on the Coyote Kid. I just want to go back in. Ooh.
All right.
I still would like to feel Professor of an actual book in my hands. Just something about it.
Was that Haven? Was that season 4?
That's season 1.
Oh, okay. I
I
can't find.
found
I can't find season 4.
they
Thank you,
have them
Cody.
on Blu-ray. Let me on Amazon. I think for less than 15.
Yeah, 15. Season 4 will
Less
be
than.
higher than 15.
Let
Season
me
4 will be
see.
higher.
Let me see, because let's see. I have I've been adding 80s movies to my list. I've been in 80s mode. Let's
I
see.
didn't drop. Did you see the picture on yeah, it's funny. But I've been looking for season 4 forever. Yeah, you can't see what else. Yes, and Rob's mentioning your Time Life books are, and he has those too. Rob has those. That is so cool. Yeah, my dad actually collected those too. He had the Western one, and he also had a World War II. He had that, and Vietnam as well. Let's see.
They have
Yes,
a DVD for $12.99. Not seeing it
for
on Blu-ray.
season 4.
Season, yeah.
Wow, that's really cheap. I might have to investigate that.
But yeah, less
Um,
than 15. I picked this up. I was like, shit. Good show.
what was your first horror movie that you saw by yourself?
Mm, wow. Good question.
Yes.
Can't even recall because that's a long, long time ago. Um, I think it was back then in the 80s when video stores were popping up left and right.
Probably so old that Vic Vermeil was still coaching the Eagles.
Well, I mean, well, I miss video stores
Me,
growing up.
yeah,
Going to
me
the
too. I feel sorry for youngsters that don't
We
get a
have
chance
one
to
in
do
we
video
have
stuff.
one in my hometown. I need to one of these days. I need to go down there and film.
Yeah, you should interview the owner.
I posted a picture of it one time somewhere, and someone goes, "That's fake. That can't be real." No, no, it's real. I think I have a picture of it on my Instagram too.
Oh, which one, Jaden? Are you talking about Echo here or JT? I can drop JT's down for you. Yeah, if it's Echo, I have Echo's information in the description box down below.
God, I've
Uh,
posted so much stuff. I think on Instagram, way back, I posted a picture of the video store, but it's like way back.
were you a big video store fan?
Mhm.
Were you a big video
Yeah,
store fan?
yeah. I mean, going back, you go back to the 80s, as a kid, going there and seeing what they had. And then as a teenager, we had on Mercer Island, we had Hollywood Video. And there was a point in time, if you were looking for me, there was two places you can find me. Suncoast Video in Bellevue Square in Bellevue, Washington, or Hollywood Video looking at movies. Those were the two places. You wouldn't have to ask, where is he? Just go to the one of those two places. And there was a 90% chance you were going to find me.
Mr. Bones is here. Thank
Hey,
you, Mr.
Bones.
Bones. Dropping links. There will be the Boneyard will be going on a little later on tonight after we get done here. The Boneyard will be on. I'm not sure what time the Boneyard will go up, but rest assured, Mr. Bones will be our host. He is our Mr. Rourke. I don't know if Mr. Bones.
Cowboy Bones.
I don't know if Mr. Bones has a tattoo yet. He needs a tattoo. Someone to say the plane, the
Technically,
plane.
I do have a tattoo.
You have what? Do you have a tattoo? A
It's you
tattoo?
have to. It's under one of my eyes. When I was a kid, I was sharpening pencils, and
Oh,
I got done doing the first one. Instead of putting it down, I put it like this, and I stabbed myself under one of my eyes, and it's so faded. I think you can see a little bit of a line, a dot under
uh-huh.
this eye. So technically, I have a tattoo where I stabbed myself.
Uh, so your mom and dad, they trusted you. You know, they knew that when you went outside and hung out with your friends, you were going to be at the Suncoast or at the video store.
And
What was the first movie you actually bought for yourself?
again, that's a long time ago. Wow. Oh my god, that's a long time ago. I can't recall. Again, it's a long, long time ago. I
Echo
mean,
is that's prison ink, Cody. Blood in, blood out, brother.
I had a chance to have plastic surgery to get it removed. The doctor's like, we got to put a needle near your eye to do it.
Yeah, I'm like,
Like,
I'm
no.
good. No, I got a
You know
BB.
what scenarios that's playing in your head when they
I
say
got
that.
I got shot in the chin by BB. When we were doing BB gun wars, we were going out and we were all armored up, right? We were wearing thick padding and we had helmets on with motorcycle shields. But I got shot underneath my shield, and I got a BB still in my chin. So every time I go to the dentist, and they do X-rays. They're always going like, "What the hell is
But
that?" How?
I only had surgery once, and let's see if I can get this. If you can see on my head,
Uh-huh.
I had a tumor right
Oh.
there, and it was a bump, and I went and got it removed. They tested it was non-cancerous. Thank you, but I got this scar, and when it was first healing, it was all red and swollen. It looked like something else, like a part of the female anatomy.
Whatever you mean. Don't.
But my joke is, I'm like Harry Potter. If you're a dork, I feel the pain. Oh God!
Yeah.
I would tease my younger cousins. Don't make my mom mad. You know what you did? Point at it. It's Patrick. Stop it.
Yeah, people are talking about their first tattoos here. I think we sparked something here. Let's see.
I won't ever get a tattoo otherwise because I have psoriasis. It's under control.
Yeah.
I don't want to end up getting something really nice, something personal, and then breaking out. And
yeah.
You can see I think I got something else, right? That's why it's always red here.
I got
when it gets cold. Yeah.
I got
when it gets cold, I break out here.
Yeah, I break out too. It's a stress thing. I didn't know that. So everybody's talking about. Oh, that's right. That's right. He's got one of those. He's got a tear by his eye. That's right. That's right. If you get tears by your eye, prison ink. That's for every year that you're in jail. Shoot, some of these guys have tears on both sides of their eyes. They've been in there so long. Let's see. I think Mr. Bones wants to know if you ever shivved anybody. Did you ever get in trouble as a kid, Echo? Did you ever get arrested?
I've only been arrested once.
We did.
Was 20 some odd years old. I got accused of stealing food off a food truck and got arrested in front of my mom.
Ooh, ouch.
So, and the officer who arrested me, she had a grudge against one of my uncles, who my mom went to him like, my son got arrested. He was waiting for me. When she saw him waiting there for me, she was probably like, oh. Yeah. And I saw a few years later. I was innocent. But my lawyer, never go for a coin-appointed lawyer. Don't.
No. They just want you to plead out.
I was found guilty. No evidence. All hearsay. I had to pay, I forget how much the fine was, and stay out of trouble for 2 years.
Right.
But every time I would see that officer,
what did they accuse you of taking? Tell me it was a burrito.
Fish sticks.
What was it?
Fish sticks.
Nobody steals fish sticks. Nobody
likes fish sticks unless you're sick.
Oh, God. Yeah, you were framed. Oh, I know you didn't go out like that.
And the woman who said she saw me, you can tell if someone's doing a fake Southern accent.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, well, my court-appointed lawyer did do one thing. The truck driver started to give his life story. So my court-appointed lawyer looks at the judge and goes, Your Honor, can you please make him just answer the question?
Oh my God!
Oh, I hate this shit.
I had to put fish sticks. And now listen to this. Cody's sitting there going like, "Don't deny, Echo. You love fish sticks." Charles Cochran says he loves fish sticks.
Dude, that's something wrong with you if you love fish sticks.
See, Star Wars said that. I would have said burrito too. I would have lied. I would have said, yeah, I took a fat ass burrito like that.
Oh,
I
I
would
tread
never.
burrito
Oh
down.
my god. Yeah, I stole fish sticks. What? Who does that? Uh, let's see. Jennifer says she likes fish sticks.
Ooh, there's something wrong with people who like fish sticks. That's just nasty. I don't even think that's real fish.
Uh,
It, it,
no,
it's
it's
like
not.
Subway. It's like Subway's tuna sandwich. It's not real tuna,
Yeah, but I love that tuna.
but
Um,
it's not.
did, 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 did,
My
did you ever
poor
learn?
mom. My
Did you
poor
ever learn to
mom
cook?
would have told her that.
Did you
Don't
ever
tell me
learn?
that. I like tuna.
Did you ever learn to cook for yourself? I mean, did your mom teach you how to cook? Or your dad?
I got into a little bit of trouble, if I remember right, as a kid, trying to cook for myself, and so I had to learn. It's like before I caused any trouble, like burnt the house down or anything, it was like you gotta learn.
Man, I'm afraid to ask him what he cooked. I'm afraid to ask what his favorite. What was your favorite dish growing up besides fish sticks?
Hamburgers. Oddly enough, hamburgers,
Not fish sticks. Oh my
not fish
god.
sticks. Because there's three foods I do not like:
Okay,
pineapple,
pineapple,
salmon,
salmon.
and fish sticks. And the reason why I don't like salmon is
boy.
because when I moved back to Washington in '92, everybody always made salmon. I got sick of it real fast. It's like, can't
Yeah,
you guys cook something else other than salmon? No disrespect to salmon, but
yeah. He likes Rob saying he likes all three. The professor, he loves fish tacos, marlin, shrimp, fried fish, good stuff. Yes, but it's really good. But you know, fish sticks is like the hot dogs of seafood. It's like
it's processed meat.
they jam whatever they can into it and compress it, and then
It's
they
not
feed it to
good.
you and call it food.
It's not good at all.
So the kitchen was not your friend. You're saying, well, you cook for yourself now, though, right? I mean, you cook for yourself. So, what do you usually make for yourself?
Right now, I've been just heating stuff up because I just don't cooking. You know, if I'm busy and I'm doing something, it's easier to heat something up than it is to make something from scratch. If you
Right.
get busy, but
No,
I like
I gotta admit to you, I have to admit, I know people are gonna crack on me now, but I get those fish fillets from Gordon's. Now you could cook them in the microwave, but I don't. I actually bake them. They're not half bad, man. I can't. Let's see. Crock pot is the way. Yes, yeah. Crock pot is a good way. I have to get some pans. I see some of these recipes on Instagram. I'm going like, you know what? I want to make these, but I don't have the pans for it. Um,
I
so
just watched a guy make a burrito and he put he was all good. It's like the meat had chorizo and beef. Oh, that's good. And then he put Fritos, the chips. I'm going. Lost me at that.
what was your first job that you ever held?
Actually, this I worked at a restaurant, and the one of the owners just passed away here recently. It was owned by this woman who was married to one of my uncles at one time, and her new husband, her husband at the time. I don't think he liked me being there. The nephew of his wife's ex-husband. I never felt comfortable. And there was an incident one day where he got into a public yelling match in front of all the customers.
That's never good.
And I'm standing there. She's technically, I can say she's still my aunt because she had two kids with my uncle. And it's like standing there seeing this mortified. Like,
How old were you when you went to work for him?
probably about 18, 19.
Okay, all right.
And I was a busboy, you could say, at as a Mexican restaurant. I cleaned all the dishes and I would fill up, the guacamole and the salsa. My friends, they loved me because if you're a stoner and you got somebody who's working at a Mexican restaurant, I got lectured because I would open. They'd be waiting for me right outside.
Now here's the key question here: how many tables did that restaurant have?
Not many. It was a small place.
You know what they say about Mexican food? the smaller the place, the better the food, and that is absolutely true. That is absolutely true. If you have like 10 tables and you go to a small Mexican restaurant, the professor can tell you too. He can back me up here. The smaller the place, the better the food. That's the rule of Mexican. That's the rule of Mexican food.
This
If you
place,
go to
I would get
if you
off.
go to on the border, or if you go to on the border, yeah, you're gonna be paying through the roof for that, but you ain't getting really good food.
When I would get off work, they'd give me all these leftovers, and I would, on the way home, I'd stop off all my friends, and then they
Nice.
would realize, let's wait outside
Oh,
outside his work, and I got told, stop having your friends doing that.
yeah,
There's a collection, a whole group of teenagers like, food, dude, you're getting
yeah,
me in trouble.
yeah. I think that's a part of ritual growing up as a teenager. I don't know if that still happens today, but when you and I were growing up and whatnot, because we all worked fast food growing up, and your friends would come by and you could hear them on the voice, ordering food. Yeah, I'd like to get three fish fillets and the three Big Macs. All right. And
I
then you end up putting four fish fillets in there and four Big Macs in the bag,
doing the favor.
and then
I
you charge them for one.
I filled so many containers with salsa. There was a period of time I fixed my hair. There was a period of time I hated salsa because I filled so many containers with salsa. If I was at a restaurant, Mexican restaurant, they're like, here's some salsa. I was like, get that away from me. I'm sick of salsa. And I love
Um,
salsa.
he loves salsa now. He recovered, Cody. Cody's like,
It,
what? How can you hate salsa?
trust me,
Don't
if
worry.
you fill container after container after container after container with it, you'll get like, ugh.
Well,
No,
how do you feel about fish sticks today?
still hate them. Still won't eat them.
So
There's
dead.
got to be another use for them. Torture.
Yeah, I'm
Just
using them
flick
right
them
now for this interview.
when they're cold. Just flick them at people.
Oh gosh, I think I'd be assault with a deadly fish. So you grew up. Now you said you're back in Seattle in '92. Uh, and I also know too. You also work for the VFW. So
And
how did you get involved with how did you
I'm
get
a
involved with
member.
the VFW?
I'm a member of the American Legion. It's called the Sons of the American Legion. The American Legion is made up of three branches: the Sons, the Auxiliary, and the Legionnaires. I joined the Sons because I grew up around the military and being in the military, but I wanted to have that connection. So I got back with them, joined them. It's fun. We do dinners once a month, except for during the summertime. Um, so it's fun. We just lost them. Unfortunately, we just lost a member, passed away here recently,
Oh, sorry.
and I guess he had failed. They thought he had concussion. He didn't have concussion. He had an aneurysm.
Oh, yeah.
So
How,
doctors.
is your hall pretty big? I mean, you have a lot of people that you take care of.
It's a
'Cause
small hall, and so it's
do you cook or do you tend bar
no. They
or
use gas. They use gas there, and I don't like gas. I won't use gas to cook or the heat. I don't like it. Bar, no. I would like to someday maybe do that, but no. But although maybe having me bartend would be bad because I'd be that guy like, here's a beer for you, here's a shot of whiskey for me, beer for you, shot of whiskey for me.
yeah? Because you don't really drink that much. I know you've had a couple of fireballs, but you're not really a big drinker though.
I from time to time it can be. I do like to kick back a case of beer. Simple
Yeah.
like they go get a 6-pack.
What kind of beer?
Modelo.
Okay, as long as it wasn't that Budweiser or Coors or nothing like that.
No, they had someone had rented when they rent the hall out, you're not supposed to bring in outside alcohol. So somebody had rented it, and they bought these people a whole bunch of Modelos, and they still went and brought outside alcohol in. So they had all this Modelo, and they're like, okay, it's $2 a bottle. So I kept going in. Modelo. mean, $2 for a bottle of beer, it's good.
That isn't bad, is it?
Oh no.
So you spend most of your time. You spend like half your time at the Legion Hall, and then half the time home, right? It's basically about
No, I
it.
haven't been down there in a while because I don't like going downtown. We have it's right around the corner from the homeless shelter, and it's what they call it, a wet shelter, which means people can go in intoxicated,
Oh,
and there's issues there, and so I'm like, no.
do you have a lot of homeless in your town? Yeah.
Seattle was doing this thing where apparently they were giving the homeless bus tickets wherever they want to go, and so
Now what city do you live in proper now? I mean, are you back in Bremerton per se,
no,
or
I'm in Yakima Valley. I really won't like saying the name of my town because we had some drama here go down in the town, so it
sure.
became the laughing stock of the state.
Uh-huh.
Basically, okay, picture what was going on in DC was Trump,
Yeah.
but in a small town.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I get it. I get it. Well,
So
let me ask you that. Let me ask you this, because this is a little bit of charged question, but what were your feelings about that? What's your opinion about what happened on January 6th? I mean, do you? Because
scary.
I think you pay attention a lot more than you let on to what's going on in the world. I've always
It
got
was
that
scary.
impression. Yeah, yeah,
It was scary. I usually don't like talking politics because some people end up talking out their ass because they don't really fully understand things. And so I don't really like doing that because I'm tend to be one of those people. But when it comes to January 6th, it was scary.
yeah. It was.
It's all of TV is like, oh fuck, what the hell's going on? It was insane. And you're seeing all these images of barriers being broken down, windows being broken, people climbing in, going in. All this shit we saw was scary as fuck. I mean, how could you? I mean, going back, you go back. Hey, let's look at September 11th, 2001. I haven't been that scared since then
Wow.
because
That
that
must.
was it was
Yeah,
scary to see it, and you're
yeah.
thinking, what the hell is going on?
Um, here's the thing. Here's the thing about this too. This is just, of course, me talking here. Um, but I tell people all the time now that it's no longer politics. People think this is politics. People think that January 6th was politics.
No,
That's not politics, kids. Scheming to kidnap our governor here. There's a group of right wingers that were going to kidnap our governor. That's not politics. That's terrorism. What they did January 6th was terrorism. It was sedition. It was treason. That's not politics. Politics is when you sit there and say, "Well, do we give the schools more money, or do we buy another destroyer?"
yeah,
Let's talk about Social Security. You know, but when you're suppressing somebody's vote, or when you're doing an act of sedition like January 6th, that's not politics. That's not. That's deeper than politics. Um, yeah. Yeah, the Freedom Convoy from Canada.
mm-hmm.
They're doing the Freedom Convoy. That's not freedom. That's because you're superimposing your will over somebody else's. That's not how it works. That's not what you're supposed to do. You and on the right and on the other side too, like you can't stop freeways. You can't stand in the middle of a road. You can protest peacefully and orderly, but once you start going a little bit crazy, you know, then
And I'm
then
seeing
yeah.
anything happens, people got to turn into political. Right now, you know what's going on in Arizona, right?
No, what's going on in Arizona?
In
Oh,
Tucson, there was a truck that flipped that apparently had nitric acid, and they're telling people to stay out of the area and take shelter. And
okay.
people are turning that political. That's not political.
That's not political.
That's
Yeah, people try
scary.
to. I think they try to use that as a cover. They use that as a cover, and it's not a political thing. It's an accident. That we had that train derailment in Ohio. And it was an accident, but the response to it wasn't very good. Okay, well, you could discuss that. That's when you go in front of your legislature and you talk about it. Like, how can we make this a little better? How can we make sure that when this happens again, It doesn't happen again. And yeah, I get that. That's politics. That's when you work together to create something for the greater, for the
Oh, we
greater.
got a hell of a politic here in Washington State. Cody knows about him. His name's Inslee, who we
Oh,
had some fires here. And he went in, to go meet with the people, and he brought them apples. Seems great, right? They had bugs and shit in them.
wow. So I mean, because you and I talk a lot outside of here, and I always felt like, I mean, there's definitely a lot more behind the eyes than people would suspect. Um, is that was that the reason why you started the Echo Side? I know you don't really like to talk a lot of politics per se, but once in a while we'll slip through. You will mention a couple
Yeah.
of things here and there.
Well,
What was the reason behind the Echo Side? What made you start the show?
with the Echo Side, I was talking with, I think it was Bones, Casey, and Hobbs, I think. And they were like, hey, why don't you do a stream? And it's all like, okay, well, that would be maybe. And I think I talked to you about it too afterwards. And it was something I was like, okay, well, maybe that might be something I want to do. And then someone said Echo Side, but then someone spelled it with a Y. I can't remember who. It might have been Casey. Spelled it with a Y instead of a D. And it's like, okay, all right. It's like they planted the seeds in my head, and it's like, okay, all right. And I know I need to do a new Echo Side, but I'm drawing blanks right now because I'm also working on a non-review series, kind of throwing out ideas and stuff.
Let's see. Mr. Bone says Hobbs. It was Hobbs. He's trying to get our friends on every day of the week.
Yeah, they just planted those seeds, and it just got going. Okay, and then I remember talking to you about it because the idea was like, okay, all right, this sounds interesting. So it might have been Bones. It might have been Bones. Okay, so one of them decided it a Y instead of an I, which looks cool.
It does. It does. And the ideas will come. I mean, it'll come. I mean, if you had a co-host, that would probably be helpful.
Yeah, because Bones did the intro.
So you've had some. You've actually had some really bad luck with co-hosts.
Oh,
my God!
Yeah,
you had.
That has been. I would love to have a co-host that's just we.
Wouldn't be normal.
Well, let's see. We had one of them who we know, who wanted us to call him Eddie Monster, who we know about all that bullshit.
Yeah.
And then the other one, most recent one, I won't get into because I'm just trying to.
Jimmy Hoffa's ghost buddy.
Yeah, I was in the chat. She goes, "Can I ask you a question, Echo?" It's just no.
Yeah. So that ended that. Let's see. He always has.
Professor needs his own series.
He has his own series with me. That's it. I stole him away. Yeah, the professor is now Midnight Society. But you and Wes do a pretty good job. You and Wes do a good job. You and Bones. I mean, you're a pretty popular panelist. I know a lot of people really they look for you to come on their panels to elevate them. How does that make you feel when people ask you to come on their panels? I mean,
if I feel honored, but I don't want to overdo it. I don't want to overwork myself.
Right.
So sometimes you'll see me say no. I don't want to overdo it.
Right.
But then again, I did that 11-hour and 26-minute stream.
No one's gonna break that record.
Oh, come on! All you have to do is 11 hours and 27 minutes.
No, nobody's breaking that record. Nobody.
Oh Lord, I had no idea. It's like when I did a 9-hour gaming stream, and I was like, if you get down, your energy's going out, and you see how long you're going, and this energy just kicks in.
Let's see.
It also helps that I was drinking that night.
Let's see. He mentions Echo always has a host, usually the professor, but yeah, he's no more. The Star Lord says Echo would be good at politics because everybody would be in the echo chamber or star chamber. The other one is live at the moment.
Yeah,
Um,
I found that she was going to be live tonight.
oh, oh, she's live right now. The crazy one, the Jimmy Hoffa's friend.
Yeah. So it was just like, whatever. And it just,
Yeah.
my thing is, whatever issues is between me and them,
Uh-huh.
and I would prefer it would stay between me
Yeah,
and
I get
that
that.
individual. I don't
Yeah,
want to sit there and tell everybody,
no,
hey, you can't be the friend because I don't like him. No, I'm not going to be
no,
that.
no, I won't do that. I won't do that. I mean, but it just, I just never saw the car crash that was going to happen. Um, oh, it's her birthday bash. Oh, okay.
No, it's not hers for somebody else.
Whose birthday is it? Her birthday or is it Jimmy
No,
Hoffa's
I
birthday?
think she said somebody else.
So it's Jimmy Hoffa's birthday. We have to see when Jimmy Hoffa's birthday is. I'm gonna do a live. I'm gonna find out when Jimmy Hoffa's birthday is. I'm gonna do a live stream on it.
Well, let's see.
So what do you got coming up on your channel?
See, I got. See, by the way, Jimmy Hoffa is February 14th.
What?
Holy shit!
No. What's his birthday?
Ready for this, Pat?
Yeah.
February 14th, 1913.
Hell no. Are you serious? Today's Jimmy Hoffa's birthday.
No,
we
he's like 110.
Dude, we should. Oh my Bones, Bones, go over there and wish her happy. Tell say happy birthday to Jimmy Hoffa's ghost. It's his birthday.
Well,
that was
yeah. What I got with my channel, I went and saw. She came from
Eric,
the woods.
Eric says, yeah, it's that's too fun. We need to go to the hideout and wish Jimmy Hoffa a happy birthday.
It's like, oh my god.
That was she would explode. I don't know if we should do that. She actually might haunt us anyway. That's too funny.
That if she doesn't have some of us blocked. I know she has me blocked.
I don't know if she has me blocked or not. I don't really give a rat's ass, but yeah.
But no, I went and saw
Mr. Bones. Listen, Mr. Bones, big old juggalo. Like, nah, I'm all right. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I don't blame you, Bones. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Go over there and say happy birthday, Jimmy. No, I'm good. I'm good. Maybe during the boneyard. That's too funny. Maybe that's what I was saying. It could be Jimmy Hoffa's birthday.
It is. It's 110.
Celebrating the birthday. We need to go over there and say happy birthday. So you were telling us real quick, what do you got on your channel? You're gonna start.
Well, I was gonna upload my review of what was the review I was gonna upload? Of Return of the Living Dead 2. But I went and saw She Came from the Woods today. Like, okay, I'll review that.
You check out the chat here. Man, Echo, you have brought a lot of humor to tonight's interview. That's for sure. There's been a lot of fun here. Yeah, look at this. This is everybody's having fun. Rob saying, I think I might know who you're talking about. I'm sure you probably do. Well, actually, there's two of them. They could actually be sisters. Actually, let's see. Star Lord mentioned that she rides on a different ship than the Titanic. Rob says he's new to the horror. Oh, you will find our community is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, but not just like any community. There are people that just don't mix.
It's also a great community. I think the first time I really saw how great it is, going back to last year, we had some drama. Somebody decided to mess with the bat.
Oh yeah,
it was stream, And I watched as the community just basically went into full blown, like circled around him. It's like,
Yep.
damn, it really is a good community. That was the first time I saw how the community was when they
Yeah.
circled around at that incident.
Yeah. That's right. That's right. Yeah. That was
Because I was on the stream with them when that happened. We were
yeah.
having fun, and then those people came in. They just took all the air out of everything when that happened.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember. Yeah, I remember that though. But you know what? They've never been back since. So that's a good thing. And
Those people, they still, last I heard, they were still saying that we were ripping them off, but they're not going to come in and mess with any of us anymore. I mean, they got
no.
torn a new one.
Yeah. He says, yeah. You know what? That's fine. Shoot, man. That's what we're saying. We do a lot of non-horror stuff. I mean,
That's
I always think of more of. I think it's more of a film community that I do horror.
I might be dipping my toes in the non-horror. I got a few movies that were supposed to be here today, but they're not going to be here tomorrow.
That's right. That's right. Boglin Club for life. That's right. Yeah. I think it's fun to do non-horror too. I mean, you got to get a break. You got to get out of it.
Yeah.
You got to have
watching a lot of dark stuff every now and then. It's good to get out. Unfortunately, fortunately for me, the thing that I'm focusing on is the 80s.
Yes, I think Hobbs has gotten us all into the 80s. A lot of us into the 80s for sure. Let's see. And mine were too. My great grandparents were also immigrants. They came over from during Black 47.
My great grandpa Modesto, when Pancho Villa rode from Mexico, he rode with them. Then when Villa rode against Mexico, he rode against Villa.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yeah. Pancho Villa fought against Blackjack Pershing during 1916 to 17. The 80s were a wonderful, glorious decade. Yes, there were a lot of fun during the 80s.
Minus the hairdos.
We have hit our limit here, but I can tell you that we're going to be doing this again soon, Echo, because this is just too much fun. I want to thank you for coming out and hanging out with us tonight and sharing a little bit about yourself. It's been a lot of fun. Everybody in the chat has actually this has been one of the funnest chats I've seen in a long time here. I really do appreciate it too. You guys are really on fire tonight. We will be back tomorrow with bass player Jerry Montano, who played bass for Danzig for 2 years, for 2 albums, for 3 years and 2 albums. He's also played on the band Nothing Face. He's played on Destroyer and Hell Yeah. If you're into rock music, if you're into seriously good rock music and you like talented musicians, that will be here tomorrow night at 8 o'clock. And then on Thursday, we will be welcoming in. Who will we welcome in on Thursday? Oh, Rocky Carledge will be here with us, and he is the co-owner of Ghostwalk Films, and he's going to be our guest on the 16th at 8 p.m. 10 p.m. on the 16th, after me and Rocky are done. You want to go over to the midnight hour at 10 o'clock. Hobbs and the crew are going to be interviewing Galen Howard at 10 p.m. This Thursday. Galen Howard has a really fun actor, a lot of fun. Yeah, he's coming here tomorrow. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun talking to him. Oh God, this was a hilarious interview. The fish sticks just pushed it on over.
Nasty ass food.
So we'll be doing that, and then on Saturday we have a Hollywood royalty, so to speak. Shanna Vieira will be here with us. Her family has been in Hollywood since the early days, like in the early 1900s, and members have appeared on TV and television, on movies and television, all the way up to today. One of her cousins was Ken Weatherwax, who was played Pugsley in the Addams Family, and of course he passed away a couple of years ago, and then Lisa Loring died a couple of weeks ago as well. But yeah, her family has had a remarkable career in Hollywood, and she'll be sharing some stories with us on Saturday at 3 p.m. All right, boys and girls, that is up for us. Thank you to my guest Echo. Charles saying fish sticks forever. I think you're doomed, Echo. I think you're going to be seeing that now. You're going to be seeing a fish with an Echo on there.
Get some fish sticks. I'm just throwing them at you.
It's going to be a fish with, instead of Echo and the sonar. It's going to be fish in the sonar. Thanks for coming out, and we will talk to you soon. Stay right where you're at, Echo. Everybody else, thanks, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.